Guys, episode 7 of Grotesquerie, let's just get up into it, okay? Bitch. This episode starts off with Lois at dinner with Merritt and Eddie. They said they're in love? Merritt and Eddie are in love? This is a dream, right? Merritt also shares that she's been cast for the show she auditioned for called Half-Ton Trauma. Girl, you... this name. She then says that she and Eddie are gonna move in together? This ain't real, girl, right? Lois is drunk as a skunk and begins showing her ass, saying that she and Eddie has a nasty thing between them. She was reckless. You hear me? She told Merritt she was a lost cause. She then shares that Marshall was a cheater who committed adultery with his students. Eddie has had enough and tells Lois that he is taking her ass to rehab. Lois was not having it and said that, white boy, you cannot gaslight a black woman. And girl, I just want to say that Niecy Nash was acting here. Do you hear me? She was committed. She then breaks a glass and leaves. Bitch, as she's driving away, she's throwing clothes out of the car window, as well as files and paperwork. Lois has lost it. And she's definitely jealous that Merritt pulled Eddie. We then see Lois at the hospital speaking with the doctor. She wants to pull the plug on Marshall and says that he had an affair with one of the nurses. Baby, you already know Nurse Sexy Red pulled up asking what's going down in here. She said that she heard that this deranged alcoholic was taking up his time. Bitch, Nurse Sexy Red came to fight. Lois said, bitch, you got a pen? She said to write down that she's taking Marshall off of life support. She said she is large and in motherfucking charge, ho. She and Nurse Sexy Red then go to Marshall's room. Lois says she is relieved. Nurse Red, however, is in shambles and says she is sad for Lois. Lois then reads to Marshall his favorite poet. It cuts away to Merritt and Eddie, eerily partaking in their demons, food and liquor. Back to Lois, who says she forgives Marshall as she walks out, leaving him to be finished. Next day, it's revealed via newspaper that he was in fact Father Charles' fine ass who tried to slice Lois's throat, and he's now dead after she shot him. We see a cameo from Niecy Nash's wife, which I thought was so cute. They go into the church. Lois wanders off and is going through Father Charles's things. Officer Jack punk ass shows up. You know, I've had an issue with Officer Jack since he tried to throw Lois under the bus. Anyway, he shows up and tells Lois that the governor congratulated her on solving the case, and Lois may be an alcoholic, but we know the girl ain't stupid. She says that if she solved the case, she wouldn't be here right now, ho. Next scene is Sister Megan the Stallion. She's back. She's speaking to the fathers of the church who are obsessed with crimes and murders, all for the sake of readership of the Catholic Guardian. They say that it's bringing people back to the church, which rightfully pissed Sister Megan off since she was harmed in this process. There's this weird-ass white man in the background receiving texts and refused to put his damn phone on vibrate. Sister Megan agrees to continue her investigations, but on her terms. Back to Lois at the station, who received a congratulations party from her colleagues for solving the case. Her superior pulls her into the office and tells her that she's being asked to retire. Lois isn't having it. They're offering her a very cute pension, but she ain't having it and storms out. As she's walking down the hall, she sees balloons from her party that say "Get well soon and feel better." Now why would those types of balloons be at a congratulations party? The next scene is Lois and Sister Megan cooking dinner together and popping bottles like a true stallion. Lois is surprised by Sister's speedy recovery, almost as if the shooter wanted to keep her alive. Sister Megan the Stallion is wearing these sexy tall heels that leads Lois to believe that Father Charles was into cosplay. Lois thinks Sister Stallion knows more than she's telling. It's a very bizarre energy between the two of them. Lois is highly suspicious of Sister Megan, suddenly saying that she was always arriving to crime scenes so quickly. Lois is speaking and Sister Megan's actions are intense, strange even. Lois suspects that there was no way for Father Charles to pull this off alone. Lois is clocking that ass and making Sister Megan nervous for some reason. She even picks up a knife. Lois thinks that she cracked the case, implying that Sister Megan was an accomplice. Sister Megan damn near has an aneurysm and screams blasphemy. Bitch, she then tries to stab Lois What is happening? They're wrestling for the knife, and bitch, this scene is giving Kill Bill. Megan stabs Lois. Lois throws a boiling pot of water on Megan. Megan manages to stab Lois again and again. Is she dead? We then fast forward to the future where Marshall is still alive. He's at a restaurant with Merritt and a very stressed out looking Eddie. Merritt is speaking on a divorce. Merritt shits on Eddie, calling him an alcoholic who works at a Cinnabon compared to her 2 doctorate degrees. She then shares that Eddie has been fucking Lois the last 2 years, so she's alive? What is happening? We then see Marshall at the hospital visiting Lois in a coma? So has Eddie been fucking Lois in a coma? Marshall is talking to her, saying he knows she's still there. It then gets very dark very quickly when he says that it is time for her ass to go. Again, what is happening? He goes to tell the doctor that he is ready to pull the plug. We then see Nurse Sexy Red at home with Marshall as she's on a live selling her coochie, and this is why I call her Nurse Sexy Red. They've been cheating on each other apparently. She says that Lois deserves to die. We then see Sister Megan as a detective. She's the chief detective? Officer Jack's punk ass comes in and tells her that Andrea from the desert, remember her, wants to press charges. He also tells her that Marshall is ready to pull Lois's plug. Bitch, we're back at the hospital with Marshall signing the paperwork with Father Charles fine ass? Only now he's Dr. Charles? What? Merritt is at Lois's bedside. She says that everything she does will always be for her love. Marshall is ready to get this done. Sister Megan pulls up and Marshall wants her gone. Megan says she admired Lois and wants to say goodbye. Eddie and his mullet pulls up and he wants to see Lois too after he's been fucking her in a coma. Merritt insists that they get to say goodbye. Merritt checks Dr. Charles' fine ass, telling him he better not inject her mother or he will face a lawsuit. Merritt says that if Marshall goes through with this, then he'll also lose her. Merritt then plays Nina Simone for Lois. Dr. Charles' fine ass then starts to inject Lois. We then flash back to the night Lois was killed by Megan, then flash forward back to Merritt saying she forgives Lois. Lois flatlines, her soul ascends, but it turns out that she's still breathing. Then it shows the flashback where Lois actually shoots Megan dead, and it ends? What? Ryan Murphy, I want my money back. Okay, that's not true. I actually really enjoyed the show. I did not love the ending. I don't know if this is an ending where the writers are leaving it up to the viewer to decide, or maybe I'm just too stupid to realize that they actually gave us the ending, that Lois is actually alive, and that at her congratulations party where we see the get well balloons, that was some sort of flash into the future of her colleagues telling her to get well after her fight with Megan, and that Megan has been dead, and that this is probably some sort of alternate ending that took place here. I loved a lot of you guys' theories that you left in my comments, and I thought they were really great. I actually thought that a lot of you guys' theories are a lot better than this ending that we saw. I thought the show overall was great. Anyway, guys, let's talk in the comments. I mean, what a ride, okay? Either way, I still enjoyed the show, and I would love to know what you guys thought.